Maybe it's because they just have one, you reckon? Yeah, Glock 43. Let's take a look at it. We happen to have multiple models, and that has been nice because we've been able to test and shoot, well, not a variety, but a number of them, I guess you could say. We have 3 at the compound here. First one you're looking at, I believe, yeah, serial. First one is, and the second one are compliments of Bud's Gun Shop, and then this one's compliments of Tennessee Gun Country on loan. And this middle one here is kind of, I think, going to be John's, and so in the other one, 339 or whatever the serial number is, going back to Bud's. As we discussed briefly in our recent vlog, we have Bud's is a big sponsor of ours, of course, now, and we've been able to get firearms from them just about whenever we needed them. We're going to start sending these back so we can get firearms anytime we need them, and almost any firearm we want, because that's not going to be part of the cost now for the Bud sponsorship in terms of just hardware. So we're going to send them back. Plus, they'll also be available to anybody who wants to buy them. They're going to put them on their auctions. That's their thing, of course. We, when we keep up, don't know or care what they sell for, but they're going to go back to Buzz. They're going to auction them, and the agreement is 10% will go to my favorite charity, the Second Harvest Food Bank here in Nashville, Middle Tennessee. So cool. So anyway, that one, 339 is going back, and that's the one I've been shooting the most. Okay, I've been shooting all of them the last week, and I have to say they all feel the same. It's interesting, and that's been one of the advantages of having 3 of them. Is and if you know Glocks, I'm sorry, Glock haters, maybe turn the channel or something, but if you know Glocks, you have fired Glocks, they tend to be pretty consistent in sight picture and function and everything. Sometimes you'll get a funky trigger on one, especially the older ones. They used to have some really mushy triggers, boy, believe me. So when I brag about a Glock trigger, it's with glee, because that means it's a crisp break, and a lot of the early ones didn't have that, but most of them now do, I've discovered, and I love that. So put some of the good old Federal 124 grain full metal jacket in here, and I thought I'd just start off by, again, shooting all 3. We've been shooting them all. Got some hollow points here, and we have one that still has hardball in it. So we got 3 mags of another advantage of having 3 of them here. We have 6 magazines. They come with 2 magazines. So why don't we just take a shot? Let's load each one up here with hardball. And I put some grip tape on these so they look a little different. This one, is right out of the box, of course. The grip tape just peels right off, of course, but it just makes a world of difference for me. It really does. And I highly recommend it. If you get one of these, or you've got a 42, it adds just a little bit to the thickness, not much, and it gives you a much better grip, and it just feels 100% better to me. Of course, I have a large hand, so it's going to help me maybe more than you. Okay, so interesting firearm, hasn't been out long, and we're glad for it to get out so we could get our hands on a couple. So I'm going to shoot some hardball with 3 different firearms. Now the one without the grip's not going to feel as good to me. Why don't I start with it? So I'll have an excuse for missing. How's that? All right, low capacity. Let's try this one. Let's put on the gong. You reckon I can? Oh, got him. Okay, hard ball in this one. Wow. Okay. A little trouble on my 2-liter. So they seem to fire hardball, and they have been firing hardball. And again, it's been nice having 3 of these for almost a week, because I've been firing all of them. This one the most, again, the 339, extensively. I'd say at least 300 times. And let's see, and I have fired hollow points, and I have fired 115 grain ammo, and of course mostly what I like in a 9mm is 124. You tend to get a better function with it, you really do. If you're going to have problems with 9mm range ammo, most of the time it's going to be 115 grain. Of course that might be because that's what people shoot the most too, right? So that's like saying most people are average, right? I think I made that comment one time. Pretty brilliant. So what am I doing? Yeah, okay. Well, let's shoot some. This is Federal. What is it? Yeah, the Hydro Shock. The box. Yeah, there's a box. Okay. And we got some others we're going to shoot. Okay, let's get the ears back on. We've got a holler point. Let's smoke a pot with it. Whoa. Got him on the fall, I think. Oh, smart Elliot. Boy, that shocked him, didn't it? And he's full of water, so I guess that was a hydro shock. Hydro shocking experience. Let's put a, oh, there's a cowboy still alive. Can't have that. Let's put another one on the gong if we can. Alright. Love that sound. I wonder if I could roll a pig. Alright. A pig killer. Let's remember that one. That one's a pig killer. Actually, they all shoot well. They have so far. Okay, I was going for the plate. I was probably going left. One of the things I've noticed, but hollering at you, is that it is a thin gun. It's not as thin as a 42, but it's a thin gun. And with my large hands, if I'm not careful, I will tend to pull it left. And believe it or not, just wrapping that grip a little bit helps. And this one not being wrapped, here I'm using that for an excuse, but it really is. With a little thin gun, I really have to watch it and get a good grip. And then they're fine. But you know what I mean if you have large hands probably and you ever get a really small gun in your hand. It's a pistol, all right? So what you just saw was amazing, right? No, what you just saw was what I've been experiencing. I've been shooting lots of different ammo and shooting them a lot, again, especially that one, and they just work. So let me not confuse myself and get those out of the picture. But I wanted to make that pointer to let you know that having all of them, I did get the opportunity steal the magazines out of them. I did have the opportunity to, and having the 6 mags helped a lot too, to shoot them a lot, and this one, you know, mainly. And my experiences again has been the point of aim is the same on all 3. The function's been the same. The trigger is identical. They all have a nice crisp break. Okay, so, and I've not had any trouble with any of them. So just to let you know now. Before we load those, let me show you a couple things that I know you really want to know because I've been getting so many questions about it. We've had a lot of requests to do this firearm, and everybody wants it to be compared with everything. I don't want to turn this into a 2-hour comparison, but we're going to just show you how it measures up with some of the other really common single stack 9mm. Now I don't have every single stack 9mm. I don't have my Nano out here. Couldn't even find it. You know, I was digging around the safe and I've got a little burst or something. But those guns are not nearly as popular as the Car PM9, the LC9, you know, the Shield, okay, and the XDS. Okay, now these are 4 of the very most popular, most common single stack 9s out there. So if you've got a different one, that's fine. You probably know enough about one of these 4 that you can kind of get an idea when I compare. All right. So let me start by bottom line. If you're familiar with the PM9, this will tell you a lot. This gun, let me put a mag in so we get the same length. The Glock 43 basically is the same as a PM9 in every way in terms of measurements, even not too different in weight, except the length. You notice it's the same height. It's about the same thickness. It's just a longer. Okay, and you would have guessed that. The PM9 is about as small a package as you can get and have a nice little shootable 9mm single stack. It really is. It's just got a shorter slide. That's the biggest difference in terms of size. Okay, so PM9, but just longer. Right? And then of course, you know, it's Glock versus Car. You know, there are other differences there. Another bottom line might interest you. I've got the Glock 26 and the Glock 42 out here. They're not single stack 9s, of course. That's why they're banished to the end of the table. But notice this, the Glock 26 and the 43 are about the same length and height and everything. So I don't know, that's on a little bump there. Yeah, if you get them on a level or shooting table, the boards are kind of warping there. It's actually, yeah, they're the same exactly. The 26 and the 43 are basically the same gun, except the 43 is thinner. Okay, and you can see that from the back, it's thinner. Yeah, but they're the same dimensionally except for that. And let me go ahead and stick the 42, which is the 380, they just came out, and you can see how they progress. Some people claim that it's close to the 26, but it's really not. I think it's a closer measurement-wise to the 42. You know, it really is. You don't feel like you've got a 26 that's just a little bit lighter or smaller. You feel like you've got a 42 in your hand that's a little bit, just a little bit heavier and thicker. Does that make sense? Okay. So, I mean, the 26, when you pick it up, the 26 is a great gun. It feels great. Not too big to carry or anything, but it just feels like a big block after you handle either one of these. Okay. So these two are just thinner. Okay. So put the 42 back up there. That's it. I'll show you briefly my measurements. Now I got myself a new caliper here and everything, and I know measurements are important on this particular gun, these pocket guns and all these small guns. I weighed them all very, very carefully, but then I just rounded up. So roughly you can see there, these first three, the Car, the Ruger LC9, and the Glock 43, they are about the same weight. Car's just an ounce less, around little. They're all, in terms of rounding, they're all seem like they all came out like 17 and 7/8, 17 and 5/8. So it wasn't any like gigantic rounding or anything. And those are my measurements though. And so those first three are very, very similar, even on the slide thickness, if you notice. Then I measured the frame thickness. I just measured right over the trigger on the frame thickness. Because if you're that far forward on the firearm around the trigger, and that involves holstering and everything. Didn't measure the slide lock buttons. Some of those are bigger on some guns than others, but just want to get generally the thickness, because the slide's not everything. Some guns have a pretty thick frame, like the M&P Shield, for example, I got 90 hundredths on the slide, but the frame, 97 hundredths, almost an inch. So it just depends. Okay, now notice your weights there while we're looking at that. If you were thinking a Springfield XDS, like, well, you can't decide. You might get a 43, but, kind of went to Springfield. Well, you're talking about a good bit difference in weight there. Springfield, 23 ounces. Okay, that's with an empty magazine in. All these are with an empty flush magazine. And so that's a pretty dramatic difference right there. The Shield's 21 ounces. Okay, now if you don't carry, you've never carried a firearm, those weights won't seem much to you. But I tell you, if you pick these up, you can tell the difference. And then again, just for reference down here, I've got the Glock 42. It's just 14 ounces. You might have one of these, or the 26, it's 22 ounces. And again, unloaded magazine. Pretty interesting that the XDS is heavier than the Glock 26 by my weight. Okay, I remember them being about the same in an earlier video we had done a while back. Okay, so that kind of lets you know, and then the capacity over there, and you can refer back to that. Check that little progress bar down there, and it'll tell you where that was, okay? Give me your home address, and I'll mail you one of these. Just kidding. But that kind of gives you an idea about that, at least according to my measurements and everything. All right? So let me load a couple of mags. Why don't we go ahead and try, I've shot a ton of 124. This is some 115. As I have told y'all before, we're very happy to be sponsored, in terms of ammo from Federal, and that's about all we need, But whenever we're testing something that's, I don't like this, a little carry gun of some sort that we want to really check out some things about it, we'll occasionally get some different ammo for that. We feel like we need to. We're not an ammo evaluator or tester necessarily, or else we would not accept sponsorship, from an ammo company. What did I do? Grab the wrong? No, that's right. Okay. So I've got the Shield. We'll put it up against it here too in a minute, and the XDS. Let's see what that looks like. I recently picked up a Shield. I have borrowed one, and we've had one or two in videos. I've never seemed to have one though when I need it, and I have to borrow one. I'll be darned if I didn't find a used one not long ago, for a really good price. The fellow owns a gun shop, gave me a really good price on it. You know what? I just bought the thing. And this is not a video about the shield, but I really like the shield. I've been shooting it some too. And it's interesting. Nice gun. All right, let's shoot some 115 grain stuff. Okay. I'm going to use this is actually a Glock 26 holster, I think. Can't believe it works. I remember being really tight for the 26. Okay, this is 115 grain. Okay. It seems to work with it has worked with anything we put in it so far. It's a little snappy. You might be able to tell that, which is one reason I have a Band-Aid on my finger. Okay. I mentioned in the Facebook posting about this that it was killing my finger, and it was. And again, that's partly because I have a long finger, and I don't grab a trigger like you're supposed to with the pad of your finger. If you do that, you have no problems, of course. But I come through there, I get a good grip on the gun, then wherever my finger goes through, so be it. All right, I know that's not the way you're supposed to do it, but it's the way I do it, always have. And it rubs on that trigger guard on the inside there, and under recoil, after 2 magazines, really hurts. Okay? As bad as any of these firearms that I have finger problems with ever hurts. Okay, so it's pretty dramatic. Now, someone recommended on a posting they put some clear fingernail polish and smoothed out the inside of that, and if that helped them, they're having the same problem with this gun, or that might have been someone else who was having the same problem with this gun. And I didn't do that, but I smoothed it out with some really fine grit sandpaper. Well, actually, it was the other one. It was John's I did that on mostly. And it seems to help a little bit. Okay, so just a tip, if you get one of these and that hurts, there might be some things you can do on the inside of that. I'm going to try that on my Glock 29, which I have the same problem with. The only Glocks that I have that with, period. The 29 and this one. So anyway, I went ahead and put the Band-Aid on so I don't have to think about it and go ahead and shoot. And a lot of the shooting I did with this firearm in the last few days, I put a Band-Aid on so I didn't have to think about that. I wouldn't be influenced by the pain. So it shoots the 117 grains just fine. Let's just try something else here for kicks. And then there's your some Hornady. We'll feed some of those. It's a Glock, and as with any pistol, you need to check with whatever you want to carry and make sure it feeds it. But generally speaking, it seems to be Glock-like. All right, I can bring out my 19, my 26. I don't think I could find a round anywhere on the market and put in it that it wouldn't feed. I really just have not been able to do that with any Glock 9mm. So I would expect that out of this. So we're not going to spend an afternoon just shooting different ones. I've shot several and they seem to work. I'll tell you what, let's do. We got those 2 mags. Here's some Remington. Get all these, sorry Federal, these Brand X rounds. We're going to try some different things I bought just to try. That looks like some kind of variation of Golden Saber. And see if it will feed okay, whatever we put in it here. Because it is a carry gun, and that's pretty important. Being able to feed hollow points. See the mag of those. What else we got? We got some HST here, 147. This is what I carry. Okay, we'll load a mag of those. I've shot some of those already. I've shot all of these, some except for I guess that Golden Saber, whatever that was. Was that Golden Saber? That was a different. Ultimate Defense. Okay, whatever. Just wanted to pick up something different than what I usually have. All right, so we got a variety here. We'll just shoot some of these. All right, and we've already shot in all of them, though. You've seen the Federal there. So this is HST 147 grain stuff right here. All right, cycled her out of there. And this is some Hornady Critical Defense. Let's get the cowboy with it. Let's defend ourselves against the cowboy. Okay, we are defended against him. Some of the Remington, whatever it's called there, something defense. The other cowboy needs to be hit. Okay, pretty good. Some more critical defense, a couple of rounds. Okay. All right. Enough with the hollow points. It seems to work. I've not been able to get a malfunction. I've tried to limp wrist it, in fact, and I've not had any luck with that. If you know what limp wristing is. So that's another thing. Before I load another magazine, though, let's see. A little more comparison. Don't want to bore you with too much comparison, but I think it's important. Click. Put an empty mag in so we can get the height and everything here. Here is the LC9. I didn't hold it up yet, did I? Let's see. Let's put it on that side. You know, we got a flatness problem here, John. We have to get another board because it's hard to. There we go. Get it down in the valley there together. Now the LC9 is 7 shots in the mag, so that's why it's a little longer, right? Makes sense. It's pretty much proportionate, and it's about the same length. It's a little shorter than the Glock. The Glock 43 is not the shortest one out there, no doubt. They weren't worried about the length. Now that is one reason it feels good. It does. It feels good in your hand. You know, it doesn't feel like a little bitty gun for sure. Just like the 42, it's bigger than some of the other really little 380s, but it feels good in your hand to shoot. Those of you who have fired it, you might not like the size. It's too big, but like this gun, it's stretched out enough to where it feels pretty good. And then the shield holds 7 in the magazine. So you got the same thing, see? It stands a little taller, okay? So a lot of people were curious about the shield in comments. It's about the same length. It's a longer grip. Looks like, you know, in the trigger guard there too, but it holds a few more rounds, and it's heavier. You know, remember the weights. You can go back to that little handy dandy spreadsheet I put together. This gun feels great. It really does. Fills the hand and everything. That extra round, a little bit bigger, a little bit heavier. So it's another thing I wanted to talk about briefly. I don't know where this gun fits exactly. It's clear. It fits pretty well in this LC9 holster. It's the only thing I have for it. Okay, I need a holster for it, but that's the only thing. It fits pretty well, so that tells you it's about the same size. And it can be a pocket gun. Okay. You know, I've carried, even in jeans, I've carried that LC9, and I could carry it. Now it kind of prints because it's a little bigger than, say, the 42, isn't it? It's not a 380, so it's going to print a little bit. So it kind of depends on how big your pockets are, how loose you wear your jeans. If you wear skinny type jeans or something, you'll have a problem. If you're worried about it printing, I worry about it a little bit, but not too much. It's legal to carry, so don't worry about it too much. So it may be too big for a lot of you as a pocket gun. I don't know. I've been known to even carry a 26. Generally not in my jeans pocket, my cargo shorts pocket, looser pockets. It may be a holster gun like that, okay? Now one thing I'm always telling you, reminding you that, okay, once you get out of the pocket and you move to your belt with a holster, because that means you probably, unless you're carrying open, you have a garment, you're covering it. Do you really need a gun this small? You could very easily carry the 26, you could carry the 19, the 17, carry a big old M&P, anything you want, can't you, if it's on your belt. See, so those are decisions you have to make. Because most of you, if you're considering this firearm, you're thinking carry probably, okay? It'd be a range gun, be okay, but it's mostly for carry. However, I will say, not to contradict myself too badly, I tend to want a bigger gun if I'm going to my belt, but I do like a gun that is just, you don't know you have it. It doesn't weigh much, and there it is. Of course, you give up capacity. So you can carry a Glock 19 with 15+1 pretty easily under your garment. Pretty easily. It's not that heavy. Or 26. The difference is, I guess, these guns, the Shield 2, I've been carrying the Shield some, been carrying this. I've been carrying this for the last week just to get used to it, to have a good feel for it, frame of reference. You don't know you have it. That's the difference. You know you got a Glock 19 or something, 26. You don't know you've got this on. But then again, you've got 6+1 rounds. So those are decisions you have to make. But there is a real appeal to a small, thin gun, even up on the belt. I'll say I've changed my attitude towards that a little bit, I think, over the years. It's so convenient. It's not going to print. It's against your body. It really is like you don't have it. Okay, so anyway, just something to keep in mind. If it's not for the pocket, you are giving up a round, because these guns are pretty much as thin. You hardly know you got a shield either. It fits in there. You got 7 rounds, better grip. Okay, something to think about. Same with the XDS. You got a heavier gun, but you got a thin gun. fairly thin, and you got 7+1. You got a gun that's heavy enough, just like the Shield, to shoot it really well. Okay, so how much a snappy gun bothers you is a factor too. So I wanted to cover that a little bit. All right. What other lies have I not told you? I did compare it with the 26 and the 42. Didn't want to leave out. Did I compare it with the XDS? Okay, now your XDS, as you notice on the chart over there, it's your heavy gun. Great. That's why they're a great shooter. It's 7+1. That's why it's taller. Okay. So again, it's basically a 26, a thin 26. That's what it is. Or you can look at it as a PM9 with a longer slide. Okay, in terms of thickness, weight, and everything. As I said, there's not much weight difference between PM9, LC9, or Glock 43. They're all 17, 18 ounces. They're all very light. They're very thin. And the one advantage of the Ruger is you get an extra round in the magazine, though. Okay, you get 7+1. All right, so we'll shoot a little more, and I'll probably let you go. Okay, I know you're in a hurry to get to dinner. I'll be thinking, what was it else that I needed to let you know about it? The negatives are, again, that trigger guard. Okay, and it could be for you. It may not be. You might shoot properly using proper technique. The tendency to want to shoot to the left. Careful of that. The low capacity, and I know 6 and 7 don't seem like much difference, but when that's all you have, it is. You can figure the percentage on that, so it is a difference. What else negative? It's an ugly Glock, right? We had, the only problem we have had, let's see, when John was shooting it here before the video, the slide didn't lock back on one of the extended mags, or one of the mags with the extender on it. I don't know. So other than that, we've had not a bobble through quite a bit of shooting from any of them, and that's always good. And I wouldn't expect that from a Glock. But you know, the Glock 42 apparently came out before it was ready, and they had to do some modifications, and I think you can send them back and get the upgrade on the slide stop, and the magazines now are a little bit different on the new ones and all that. So, you know, apparently, hopefully, that's not going to be the case with this one. Sometimes gun companies, like everybody else, are a little too in a hurry, too quick to get things out, and you end up with that kind of stuff. And the problem with that one was that there was certain bullets, they were hanging up on the slide stop. But we've not had that experience with anything on this one. It just cranks right on. I like it, I guess. Of course I would when I like Glocks. I'm not sure where it would be. It's one of those guns, if you're a carry permit person, you probably have 2 or 3 guns. Got another mag somewhere, there it is. And you alternate depending on weather, what you're wearing, and that sort of thing. Just like this little thing is just a ticket sometimes, and sometimes it's a 26 for me, the 19, you know, or this, I can see that, or the Shield, the XDS. I've been carrying this a lot. One thing I hope I can bring to the table is the fact that I do carry a lot, and I have carried this gun for months and months in my pocket. I've carried the XDS in my pocket a lot. I've even carried this, the 26, the 42. I've carried this for the last week in my pocket, both pocket and also on my hip, because the weather's been really a variety in the last week. I've had shorts on, excuse me, I've had jeans, I've had a long cover shirt part of the time. We've had a real variety of weather last week. And so I've had opportunity to carry it in a lot of different ways as well. And one thing I do have some experience with is carrying a pistol for, I guess, 30 years now. And like I said, I pretty much told you my perspective on that. This one is it's a little big maybe for the pocket, and it's not very high capacity. When you get up to the hip, it feels great, but there are guns that have more capacity that you could be carrying. That said, it's a great little gun that seems to function reliably, and I'm gonna rack the rest of these rounds through it here. And let's see, we're going to hit the gong a couple times. I think it needs to know we're here, don't you? All right, I think it does. What if I could hit that turkey with this little thing? Pop. You know, I know y'all want me to shoot that chicken. I'll take a couple shots at it. Oh, I think I hit it. It didn't move, maybe. I don't know. It's fun to shoot at anyway. Well, you can see the misses. It's right there at it. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to put it in my holster. Now, here I am messing at a little chicken out there at 75 yards or 70, whatever it is. What the gun is for, of course, is this kind of stuff. All right? I almost forgot I had this target here. It's for when Mr.